Dumbledore had a spy network. Dumbledore used chocolate frog cards as a spy network. Famous witches and wizards have their faces on cards with moving images. This theory proposes Dumbledore enchanted his card to spy on people. Ron tells Harry that Dumbledore always leaves his card. Portraits can travel between frames. If tiny portraits on cards work similarly, Dumbledore could pop into living rooms and eavesdrop. In Order of the Phoenix, when kicked off the Wizengamot, he says he doesn't mind as long as they don't take me off the chocolate frog cards. One Redditor pointed out this takes on a sly double meaning if Dumbledore needed those cards for his intelligence network. We've seen Dumbledore using portraits to spy in canon. Chocolate frog cards are everywhere. That's a perfect info network. Rowling hasn't weighed in on this theory. It doesn't contradict canon and is almost impossible to disprove. Very clever fan conjecture. Next time you see Dumbledore's face on a card, is he watching you back? The Dursleys were influenced by the Horcrux. The Dursleys weren't just mean, they were corrupted. This theory claims the Horcrux inside Harry radiated dark energy for years, poisoning Vernon, Petunia, and Dudley's personalities. Think about how Ron got hostile near the Locket Horcrux in Deathly Hallows. Harry lived with them for a decade. Even Daniel Radcliffe called this definitely interesting. But J.K. Rowling shut it down hard. She revealed the Dursleys hated Harry for human reasons. Petunia resented her sister Lily. Vernon despised James Potter after an embarrassing first meeting. No dark magic needed. They were already petty and closed-minded on their own.
Neville was the chosen one. Neville Longbottom fits the chosen one prophecy perfectly. Born at the end of July to parents who defied Voldemort 3 times, just like Harry. He destroyed McGonagall, the final Horcrux. In the film version, Voldemort starts disintegrating the second Neville kills that snake. His journey from fumbling kid to leader of Dumbledore's army screams hero's arc. But canon is clear. Voldemort chose Harry by trying to kill him, transferring powers, and creating his own nemesis. If Voldemort had targeted Neville, maybe things would have been different. Rowling called Neville the tantalizing might have been. Harry was the true chosen one. Neville was vital and heroic, but prophecy-wise, this timeline belonged to Harry.
Dumbledore is death.
Dumbledore is death! From the Tale of Three Brothers. Voldemort mirrors the power-hungry first brother obsessed with the Elder Wand. Snape parallels the grief-stricken second brother yearning for lost love. Harry is the humble third brother who accepts death in the Forbidden Forest. If those analogies hold, Dumbledore orchestrates everything as death. He possessed all 3 Hallows at various points, and welcomes Harry in King's Cross like an old friend. Dumbledore was the only one Voldemort ever feared. Fitting if he symbolically represents death itself. Rowling called this a beautiful theory that fits. It's meant metaphorically, not literally. This is Rowling's favorite fan theory, for good reason. It adds satisfying symbolic resonance to the Hallows tale.
Sirius Black never died. Denial is a stage many fans went through when Sirius fell through the veil in Order of the Phoenix. Since his body was never recovered and the veil's nature was unexplained, fans speculated Sirius was stuck in limbo and might return. Right after Book 5, readers grasped at any straw to undo Sirius's tragic end. The veil was so enigmatic that a theory arose. Sirius is alive on the other side. However, Rowling has consistently treated Sirius's death as final. The veil symbolizes the divide between life and death. Rowling confirmed she envisioned it as an absolute separator. Deathly Hallows offers a chance for any not-really-dead character to show up via the Resurrection Stone. Sirius appears as one of the dead walking with Harry, clearly confirming he's deceased. Sadly, Sirius Black died at the Ministry in June 1996. If you're enjoying these wild theories, hitting like and subscribing helps us keep exploring the wizarding world's deepest mysteries. Now, back to the madness.
Ginny used a love potion.
Ginny drugged Harry with a love potion. Half-Blood Prince heavily features love potions. Ginny grew up around Fred and George's joke potions. Harry's crush emerged suspiciously fast around the time Slughorn introduces Amortentia. Too coincidental, right? But the evidence against this is overwhelming. Harry's feelings were foreshadowed. He becomes jealous of Dean Thomas. He smells something flowery in Amortentia, later revealed as Ginny's scent. Ginny had given up chasing Harry. She dated others and became independent, which made Harry notice her more. Most importantly, Ginny knows the horror of magical control after Tom Riddle's diary possessed her. She'd be morally opposed to enslaving someone's affection. Harry stays in love with Ginny, even when separated for months. This theory is infamous, but officially debunked.
Ron is time-traveling Dumbledore. The bizarre theory that Ron Weasley grows up, goes back in time many decades, and becomes Dumbledore.
Fans noticed quirky parallels. Dumbledore has long fingers and loves sweets. Ron has long fingers and is always eating candy. Dumbledore has a scar above his left knee. Ron hurt his leg in Prisoner of Azkaban. Both are tall and thin. There's the chess connection. Ron excels at wizard's chess, and Dumbledore orchestrates all moves at Hogwarts. Rowling publicly laughed off this theory in 2005. She said these theories are wrong and recognized it as fans' way of trying to guarantee Ron's survival. She categorically debunked it. Ron is 100% himself. Dumbledore had his own separate rich history. Sometimes a lemon sherbet is just a lemon sherbet. Consider this theory Peeves-approved nonsense.
McGonagall was a Death Eater.
This wild theory claims stern, honorable McGonagall was working for Voldemort all along. Pre-Deathly Hallows, some fans speculated about a traitor at Hogwarts. A detailed essay cited numerous clues. McGonagall was at Privet Drive when baby Harry was delivered. She referred to Voldemort as the Dark Lord in Philosopher's Stone, a term Death Eaters use. But McGonagall is clearly loyal to the Order of the Phoenix. All the evidence has innocent explanations. She was in somber shock that Lily and James died, not upset that Voldemort lost. We see McGonagall actively fighting Death Eaters in the final battle. She duels Snape and leads the charge against Voldemort. She took 4 stunning spells protecting Hagrid. If she were a hidden ally, she did a terrible job helping Voldemort. This theory is fascinating mental exercise, but McGonagall was never a villain.
Trelawney wasn't a fraud.
Fans observed that Trelawney's fake predictions often accidentally come true if you interpret them creatively. In Prisoner of Azkaban, she predicts around Easter, one of our number will leave us forever. Hermione quits her class that spring. She refuses to sit at a table of 12, saying, "The first to rise will be the first to die." 13 end up dining, and Dumbledore rose first. He became the next to die. She told Umbridge, "I foresee you will have problems with your job." Umbridge was ousted shortly after. Rowling's take? Trelawney is about 90% fraud, but with occasional real insight. By law of averages, some rapid-fire predictions hit the mark by chance. Sybil had rare flashes of real prophecy, but the rest was intuition, observation, and lucky guesses. Trelawney remains mostly a fraud, just one who occasionally happened to be right. A broken clock that's right twice a day.
The Sorting Hat was a Horcrux.
Among pre-Deathly Hallows speculations, one theory guessed Gryffindor's Sorting Hat secretly housed Voldemort's soul. The hat is ancient, sentient, belonged to the Founders. Fans thought its consciousness might be because it contained part of a soul. Plus, the hat wanted to put Harry in Slytherin. If it had Voldemort's soul fragment, that could explain the urge. Rowling swiftly shot this down before Book 7. She stated, "No, it isn't. Horcruxes do not draw attention to themselves by singing songs in front of large audiences." A dark object housing evil isn't likely to belt out jaunty Hogwarts anthems every year. Deathly Hallows revealed the Gryffindor-connected Horcrux was Nagini. A Horcrux is kept hidden. The Sorting Hat is put on every student's head publicly. This theory was debunked well before Book 7's release.
Hagrid was a Death Eater.
This theory is mostly tongue-in-cheek, born from observing that Hagrid's well-meaning actions sometimes endangered Harry. One Redditor assumed Hagrid was a covert agent and found almost every move somehow aided Voldemort. Hagrid retrieved the stone from Gringotts. He drunkenly told Quirrell how to get past Fluffy. He bought Aragog, who almost killed Harry and Ron. The more you cherry-pick, the more Hagrid's bumbling could be spun as calculated scheming. Of course, Hagrid is not a Death Eater. He's one of the purest hearts in the series. The theory originated as a fandom joke. Hagrid's actions inadvertently advanced Voldemort's agenda by accident. But the story consistently portrays him as brave, fiercely loyal to Dumbledore, and devastated whenever anyone gets hurt. By Deathly Hallows, Hagrid's fighting Death Eaters and carrying Harry's dead body while sobbing. Consider this theory an elaborate gag.
Hermione is Harry's sister.
This theory claims Hermione Granger is actually James and Lily Potter's biological daughter, Harry's long-lost sister given up for adoption. A Star Wars-esque secret sibling twist. Fans pointed out Hermione's exceptional magical ability must mean she's not really Muggle-born, but a Potter. They note how close Hermione and Harry are, almost like family. This theory holds no water in canon. Lily and James never mention having another child. It's implausible Lily would give up a baby. Hermione's parents, the Grangers, are Muggles, shown in Deathly Hallows. There's zero suggestion they adopted her. Rowling has never indicated Hermione was anything other than Muggle-born. Part of Hermione's arc is showing blood status doesn't determine talent. Hermione is not a Potter. This theory is pure fan fantasy.
Harry Potter is immortal.
By defeating Voldemort and uniting the Hallows, some fans argue Harry became immortal. This hinges on a literal reading of Trelawney's prophecy. Either must die at the hand of the other. One interpretation is that only Voldemort could ever kill Harry. Therefore, with Voldemort gone, no one remains who can kill Harry. Fans also tie in the Deathly Hallows. Harry was the true master of all three. From a narrative standpoint, this isn't supported. Rowling doesn't suggest Harry is anything other than mortal after the war. The prophecy ensured a showdown, not invincibility. Harry can live now because Voldemort's gone, but he'll still age and die naturally. Rowling has discussed Harry's post-war life. He marries Ginny, becomes head of Auror Office, raises kids, normal life events, not the schedule of an immortal.
Snape is a vampire. Severus Snape's sallow skin, bat-like robes, nocturnal habits. Fans noted he's compared to a bat multiple times and teaches in dungeons, rarely seen in daylight. Could this explain why Quirrell's garlic didn't bother him? Rowling put a stake through this theory in 2015. She pointed out Snape walks in daylight at Quidditch matches. He never exhibits vampire traits. And, as Rowling noted, no corpses with puncture marks in their necks ever turn up at Hogwarts. She revealed she'd considered a vampire teacher named Trokar in early drafts, but scrapped the idea. Snape was never meant to fill that role. The vampire theory arose because Snape cuts a mysterious Gothic figure, but it's firmly non-canon. Snape may be bat-like in demeanor, but he's 100% human.
Fawkes chose Voldemort's soul.
Fawkes chose Harry because of Voldemort's soul. This theory speculates Fawkes bonded his tail feathers to both wands because he sensed Harry carried a piece of Voldemort's soul. Harry's and Voldemort's wands share twin cores, both with a feather from Fawkes. Fans theorized when 11-year-old Harry visited Ollivander's, the Phoenix Feather Wand chose him because it recognized the fragment of Voldemort inside him. Some extend the theory. Perhaps Fawkes deliberately allowed Ollivander two feathers, knowing they'd go to these entwined souls, facilitating the prophecy by linking their wands. While this is speculative, it's supported by wand lore logic. Wand cores might carry sentience or loyalty. If Harry contains a piece of the same soul that empowered Voldemort's wand, it's poetic the Phoenix Feather Wand would choose Harry. Rowling hasn't confirmed this explicitly, but it aligns with Dumbledore's remarks. Ollivander helped Voldemort. This theory speculates the mild-mannered wand maker might not have been entirely innocent in Voldemort's rise. He sold Tom Riddle his first wand and spoke almost admiringly of the greatness Voldemort achieved. When imprisoned, Ollivander whispers, "the Dark Lord," a term Death Eaters use. However, the books show Ollivander as a victim, not a collaborator. By Half-Blood Prince, he's kidnapped by Death Eaters. If he were a willing ally, they wouldn't need to abduct and torture him. When Harry rescues him from Malfoy Manor, he's terrified, hurt, and meek. Ollivander was enthralled by Voldemort's wand power, in a technical, not ideological sense. After prolonged torture, he slips into using Voldemort's preferred title, a mix of fear and perhaps Stockholm Syndrome. Ollivander was not a Death Eater. He was an unwilling participant, coerced for his expertise. J.K. Rowling is Rita Skeeter. This meta-theory posits that author Rowling is actually Rita, the scandalous reporter from the wizarding world, living as a muggle. Rita got in trouble after Goblet of Fire and was banished, so she decided to spite everyone by writing the Harry Potter series, exposing the magical world disguised as fiction. J.K. Rowling is just her alias in our world. Fans note both wrote books about Harry's life. Both have a thirst to sell stories. It's tongue-in-cheek, an in-joke. Within the books, Rita's whereabouts are accounted for. She writes a biography of Dumbledore by Deathly Hallows. And in reality, Rowling conceived Harry Potter long before 1995, but it's a cute notion that Harry Potter could be a leaked documentary.
It was all a dream. The entire wizarding world is fantasy created by an abused boy living under the stairs, a coping mechanism to escape the Dursleys. In this grim interpretation, magic isn't real. Harry either went mad from trauma or is in a coma. Hogwarts, Voldemort, everything is delusion. Supporters point to how conveniently events work out, like a child's imagination ensuring a happy ending. Rowling firmly never intended this ending. She acknowledged hearing fans suggest Harry actually did go mad in the cupboard, but shot it down. The series' conclusion, with the next generation heading to Hogwarts, affirms the magic was real. Thematically, saying it was all a dream undercuts the hard-won growth and sacrifice.
Rowling and screenwriter Steve Kloves played with this briefly, but Harry's world is real. As Dumbledore might say, of course it's happening in your head, but why should that mean it's not real?
Which theory convinced you the most? The Chocolate Frog Spy Network or the time-traveling Ron? Drop a comment with your wildest Harry Potter theory. In this wizarding world, nothing is too crazy to be true. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.